All right, folks, we are back, and I need you to help me share this message out far and wide. Let everyone know that we are back on YouTube, and we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. We have so much content to get to you: current events, financial markets, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. We're going to focus on cryptocurrency in this update. Now, we did see, to finish off the week, that XRP and the broader cryptocurrency market did have a little bit of a pullback to about the 50-cent range for XRP. So if you love that 2-for-1 deal like I do, you got it once again. For Bitcoin, extending a big red candle here all the way up from 63,380 all the way down to 60,300. Okay, so we're going to continue to watch this market showing signs of weakness and definitely still under attack. You got to remember that this broader crypto market is going to have more dramatic swings to the upside, but it's also going to get beat up upon bad news, and we're starting to see that reflected in the data. More on that and other content, other videos that are going to be on the economic data, but I wanted to get into crypto because we have so much to cover here, as we've had some major developments here in the past few days. We did get a response from the SEC towards Coinbase's request for interlocutory appeal in that case. And the SEC is throwing shade on Judge Torres' decision in the Ripple case, saying, quote, "In any event," and tellingly, "no court has followed Ripple." So they don't even want to acknowledge the massive loss that they took in this case, right? The fact that XRP in it of itself does not embody an investment contract designated by the Howey test, the Supreme Court ruling going back decades now, right? It does not embody that. It is not a security in it of itself. Programmatic sales, not a security. Other distributions, not a security. The only thing that they won on was that small technicality on institutional investors having more complex, stipulations and lockup periods tied to their purchases of XRP from Ripple. Those were the only contracts that were deemed to be investment contract securities. And so they did get a little bit of a victory. And you guys know that Ripple's even admitting, yes, you got a little victory. A fine of 10 million would suffice. We'll see what it ends up being. But nonetheless, the SEC wrapping up its case and taking a major loss against Ripple, but they're turning their crosshairs on the rest of the space. And this has the rest of the space in full panic. And I got to say, it's very comfortable over here in the XRP community. It's very comfy, because not only is XRP in and of itself not a security, we're about to potentially get the sign off on Ripple's business of ODL. So think about this. Not only is our underlying asset going to be in the clear, but the business model that Ripple is using XRP for is potentially about to get the sign off from the judge in this final ruling as well. No other cryptocurrency has this type of clarity, and no other cryptocurrency project or company has this type of sign off on their business, right? So we're seeing once again that we're going to stand ourselves apart from the rest of the space. It is going to give us a competitive advantage. And I'm going to play a clip here a little bit later of Brad Garlinghouse in a most recent interview that he did. And just like I've been saying, Brad took a moment to remind everybody that when we were on a level playing field, this was back during the 2017-2018 bull run, before the Hinman free pass speech, XRP surpassed Ethereum to take that number 2 spot. Now, we did get this update here. This is a good one from Fred Rispoli. He says, Hodl Law, this is his law firm, sued the SEC because, like the rest of the XRP army, we understood phase 1 of the government attack on crypto. Phase 3 is ramping up. Stop self-custody. That's their most recent target, right? They were coming after DeFi. Now they're coming after self-custody, and that's a big one, right? Just being able to hold your assets. I mean, if we can't hold our own crypto, can we hold our own silver? Can we hold our own gold? Can we hold our own XRP? They going to be coming for it? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But nonetheless, Fred Rispoli acknowledging it, and this is why we've put up a fight. This is why I humbly stand behind John Deaton, Fred Rispoli, Jimmy Valley, all of our other good lawyers that are taking the battle back to them, that are putting up that fight. Senator John Deaton sounds very good, has a nice ring to it, and I got the link for John Deaton down below in the description of all my videos. SAB 121, Samurai Wallet, MetaMask, and SEC prevention of Exodus New York Stock Exchange listing is further proof. That's right. They just denied another New York Stock Exchange listing. They continue to come after the space. But meanwhile, remember, This is the SEC coming to crack it down. We've had the banksters who have been saying that it's only used for criminal activity, all this bad stuff, right? Meanwhile, what have they been doing? Wells Fargo Bank reveals it has a spot Bitcoin ETF exposure in new SEC filing. They're not the only one. America's largest bank, JP Morgan Chase, discloses spot Bitcoin ETF holdings in new SEC filings. So while Jamie Dimon is testifying in front of Congress that it's only for bad activity, it's only for illegal transactions and activity, and you guys know the rest of the story, right? No real utility there. Meanwhile, they're stacking it on their balance sheet. And if you think that they're only trying to get exposure to Bitcoin, I think that you would be greatly mistaken, because we're starting to see that these institutions want some XRP. And I'm going to show you here in the next one, these institutions are showing up to run validators on the XRP ledger. Not only do they want to hold some XRP, use some XRP, they're setting up shop. They're part of the infrastructure running the XRP ledger. Now we have SBI joining the party. SBI's statement for their XRP ledger validator: SBI contributes to the XRP ledger ecosystem. Remember, SBI, the CEO, he's the one that said that every bank in Japan is going to be using XRP by 2025. That was a bold statement. We like those. Targets to become a UNL node to help shape XRP ledger governance. So they want to make it onto the UNL list. And remember, the UNL validators, the 35 of them, I believe is how many we have, are the ones that decide. Their vote is what decides what amendments get passed, what changes get made to the ledger. So they're, going to work their way into that UNL list. And we have two UNL lists, one that's put out by the XRP Ledger Foundation and one that's put out by Ripple. Now, their vote will reflect XRP holders' voice in Japan, and they are aiming to educate XRP holders about new amendments. Remember, we're getting all sorts of new amendments and utility at the protocol level. It's amazing time to be in the XRP community. This is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to this new ecosystem contribution and angle SBI is coming from with this. It's just incredible. Now, let's move on over to a little bit of wild speculation, and you better put out the warning. You better let the crypto police know. We better fire up a Twitter space and say, oh, no, Brad Garlinghouse getting a little crazy with it. Digital asset investor, thank you so much for clipping this one up. We're talking about Brad Garlinghouse speculating on how big this space is going to get. You thought 10x was big. Is 100x out of the cards? Well, Brad Garlinghouse says not so quick. Not so quick. He's not willing to rule it out. Let's listen in on what Brad has to say here. This was an incredible interview, by the way.
It's inevitable. And it's inevitable that, now right now we're talking about.
Sorry about that. Let me run this one back. Here we go.
It's inevitable. And it's inevitable that, right now we're talking about is $2.5 trillion. Look, do I think this is an easy 10x over the next 5 to 10 years? Yeah, no problem. That doesn't freak me out when I say that at all.
That's conservative. If you
that feels safe. I mean, to the earlier conversation about asymmetric returns, is there a chance that it's 100x in that time frame? It feels aggressive, but I don't know. I think that many people in the United States particularly don't understand what it would be like to have lived in Argentina and have the Argentinian peso devalued effectively to zero multiple times in my lifetime.
Right, we got two things happening. The utility of XRP growing, the XRP ledger, right? Driving that value up, that fundamental value is growing, but he's directly acknowledging the loss of purchasing power through inflation of our dollar as well, relating it back to Argentina. We think it can't happen here, but we're actually witnessing it in real time. It's just happening a little bit more slower here in the United States.
Why would you hold that currency?
We don't realize that could become us.
That's exactly the point, right? I think that we underestimate what that macro dynamic looks like over the long term. And so I'm, incredibly bullish. The reason I'm dodging the question only slightly because what's the timeline for this year? I mean, I have said publicly, I think that the market will be over 5 trillion by the end of this year, which is a double from where we are now. How that applies to Bitcoin versus XRP. I mean, people forget before the SEC got involved and said that ETH is not a security, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset.
Wow,
That wasn't that long ago.
that wasn't long ago. What, 3-4
It
years?
was 2018 when
Okay, 6
Hinman
years
gave
ago.
his speech. So 6 years, a little less than 6 years ago. Yeah, 5 years and change. And, look, when a government actor gets involved, the markets change.
Government actor, you say? Okay.
And maybe that's to be expected.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you still have that government actor involved. Unfortunately, you still see, and I believe what I read usually, look, it appears the SEC is trying to mount a case against ETH. To me, that's absurd. To me, that's like, you've already lost a bunch. Why would you keep fighting this fight?
Yeah.
But look, unfortunately, I don't think the U.S. government should be putting their hands on the scale of winners and losers. In the long run, I think the best technologies applied with the best use cases, delivering the best utility, that they'll win.
Yeah. Just give us the level playing field. Let us build. Let us bring in traditional finance. These guys need this, and this is how we take the space, not just the 10x, right, from about 2.5 trillion. Right to 20 trillion. We're talking about 100x. And, does he say it's a little bit aggressive? Yes. But as far as time frame, we got to keep it in context. We're not expecting it to 100x this bull run, but is it inevitable? Well, it might be a little aggressive, but can we rule it out? We cannot rule it out, right? And I like Brad Garlinghouse's approach. I like the fact that he got really intimate in this interview on some of his thoughts. He even shared how when the ruling came down from the judge on July 13, 2023, the XRP wasn't a security, that he shed some tears. And that, for me, shows Brad being a real person, right? This guy, he's just like us. He's a Kansas boy at heart. I regret not being able to meet him again in Vegas. I missed him again. I missed him last year. And next year, I will get to meet Brad Garlinghouse. I'm going to manifest it. I'm going to shake his hand. And David Schwartz as well. I just missed him. But I like his level-headed approach, right? The trajectory of this space is very easily a 10x, right? But even 100x can't be ruled out just because he's one that understands how big these traditional markets and flows and volumes of liquidity actually are, right? And so are we going to capture it all? Is all the money going to come to the XRP ledger? That's not what Brad's talking about, but he brought up once again in this interview, putting a dent in the universe. That's what he's here to do. He already made the money, right? Now he wants more. Now he wants to change the world. And Ripple is successfully doing so. They've had some challenges. We've had some bumps. Is XRP been suppressed? You bet it has. But this thing's breaking out right now. And just like he said, we're watching in real time. All these other currencies around the world are struggling big time. The US dollar is the best currency around, but compared to what? Compared to a bunch of other currencies that are failing as well. Our currency is failing. Our currency is being devalued, but against the rest of the currencies, it still remains the best. And that's an illusion that Americans are falling for, and we're not falling for it over here, folks. You know our deal. We're stacking up commodities like gold, like silver. We're stacking up, call it whatever you want, digital assets with limited supply, with massive utility. And the upside potential is incredible. I'm not here to give anybody financial advice, but if you need the ability to get you some precious metals, we got you covered. If you want some of my favorite exchanges in my wallets, it's all over at my website, zachrector.com. I just want to say thank you guys for all your support. It was a struggle going about 3 weeks without the channel. We are back better than ever, and we would appreciate the support more now than ever before we need it. Just help me out by sharing it out far and wide, smashing that thumbs up, dropping a comment down below for me, and let's get the word out here. We're spreading the truth about XRP while we fight for a level playing field, and we're stacking the assets that matter. I appreciate all of you guys. It's at my website, zachrector.com, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.